Time isn't what's holding you back. You already have enough of it. What you don't have is hierarchy. Your days are being decided by whatever is loudest, closest, or most urgent in the moment, not by what actually moves your life forward. So you stay busy, responsive, and tired, while the things that matter most keep getting postponed. Not because you don't care, but because they don't demand you the way distractions do. This is how progress quietly dies. Not through laziness, but through misordered priorities. You wake up with good intentions, then spend the day solving other people's problems, chasing small wins, and handling noise that feels productive but leads nowhere. By the time you're done, there's no energy left for the work that would actually change your trajectory. And because nothing explodes immediately, you convince yourself you'll fix it later. When things calm down, when you have more time, when you feel more ready. This video isn't about hustling harder or squeezing more hours out of the day. It's about exposing why men with discipline, intelligence, and ambition still stall for years. Because without priorities, time becomes a trap. It gets filled by default instead of design. And unless you decide what deserves your best energy, not someday, but now, you'll keep mistaking motion for progress and busyness for purpose. If you've ever ended a day feeling drained but unsatisfied, stay with me. What you're about to hear isn't complicated, but it will force a decision. Either you keep letting your time be claimed by everything, or you finally decide what it belongs to. The problem isn't that your days are full, it's that your energy is fragmented. You move from task to task, message to message, obligation to obligation, without any clear order of importance. Everything gets a little attention, but nothing gets your best. And by the end of the day, you feel spent, even though very little of what you did actually moved your life forward. That's not busyness. That's dispersion. When priorities aren't defined, urgency fills the gap. Whatever pings first gets handled first. Whatever feels time-sensitive steals focus, regardless of whether it matters long-term. You become efficient at responding instead of progressing. And because reaction creates constant movement, it gives the illusion of productivity. But illusion doesn't compound. Direction does. Most men assume discipline means doing more. In reality, discipline starts with exclusion. It's deciding what doesn't get access to your attention. Without that filter, your energy leaks into low-value tasks that feel responsible but produce no leverage. You exhaust yourself maintaining systems instead of building something better. And because nothing obvious breaks, the pattern feels sustainable until years pass and the gap between effort and outcome becomes impossible to ignore. Scattered effort also kills momentum. Progress requires depth, not constant switching. Every time you fracture your attention, you reset your focus and burn energy just getting back to baseline. The result is a day full of motion with no traction. You end up busy enough to feel productive, but unfocused enough to stay stuck. If you want time to work for you instead of against you, the first move isn't adding structure, it's subtracting noise. Until you decide what deserves your concentration, everything will keep demanding it. And the more scattered you are, the easier it becomes to tell yourself you're working hard, while quietly avoiding the work that actually matters. The things that matter most to your future rarely feel urgent in the moment. They don't send reminders. They don't demand immediate attention. They sit quietly in the background, waiting for space that never seems to open up. So you tell yourself you'll get to them when things calm down, and they slowly disappear from your life without a conscious decision ever being made. When something isn't scheduled, it isn't protected. It's optional. And optional things are the first to go when energy dips or pressure rises. Training, building, learning, planning, the work that compounds over time, gets pushed aside for whatever feels necessary right now. Not because it matters more, but because it's louder. And over time, your life becomes a reflection of what interrupted you most, not what you valued most. This is why intention without structure fails. You can want better results and still never create them if your calendar doesn't reflect your priorities. Saying "I'll find time" is just another way of saying this doesn't come first. And the longer you operate like that, the more normal it feels to betray your long-term goals in favor of short-term convenience. Men who make progress don't rely on motivation. They rely on constraints. They lock important work into their schedule the same way they lock in obligations they can't skip. Because once something has a fixed place, it stops competing with everything else. It becomes non-negotiable. If you keep waiting for time to appear, it never will. Time only reveals what you've decided matters. And until you're willing to schedule the uncomfortable work, the boring work, the demanding work, you'll keep telling yourself you're trying while your calendar tells the truth. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer lies about what matters. Time has been revealing your priorities this whole time, through what you protect, what you postpone, and what you allow to interrupt you. And once you see that, you can't blame busyness anymore. You either decide what comes first, or you live with the results of letting everything else decide for you. If this landed, don't just agree with it and move on. Look at your calendar. Strip out what doesn't serve you. Lock in what actually builds your future. And if this message resonated, like the video, comment with what you're cutting or committing to, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who keeps saying they're busy but going nowhere. Progress doesn't come from more time. It comes from better priorities.